Good evening, everyone. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and you have landed on the channel, probably the only channel on YouTube that will not beg you and plead for you to hit the subscribe button and the like button. Why? Because even though it's nice that you hit the subscribe button and you hit the like button, and that's great and that's fantastic, the key is it's not going to get my video shared everywhere. Okay? So, the thing is, if you really want my videos shared everywhere, there are two things you can do to this video to help it out. First of all, watch the presentation all the way through, because it increases the watch time, and leave me a nice comment down here in the comment section below. Why is this? Because YouTube wants to see if my videos are going to keep you on their platform. And there are only two ways they can determine that. Number one, if they see the watch time going up on my videos, or two, if they see nice comments on my videos. It's the only way they can tell. So, that's why I'd like for you to do that. If you want to subscribe, that's great. I'm thrilled you want to. And if you want to like this thing, fine. But it's not going to affect how much it's shared, no matter what they tell you. Anyway, one other thing I wanted to cover with you real quick is that I have published 5 Kindle books. If you want to read any of them, please go ahead and leave me a comment down here in the comment section below, and I'll send you a link to one of those books, and you can find the other 4 that way. Anyway, alright, let's get into this. Alright, now, what's the topic of this particular video? Well, how much do you know about media cards? You've used them. If you've had a digital camera or you have a smartphone that's capable of taking on a media card, then you've used them. Now you say, well, wait a minute, my phone is an Apple phone. It can't take a media card. Well, if you've used a flash drive to store data from your phone, then there you go. Same technology. Okay. So, the history of media cards is a little bit on the murky side, so I will only give you the information I was able to find, and then you'll just have to figure out the rest. If you know anything about the history of computers, you know that in the 1970s and the early 1980s, computers used hard disk drives and floppy disk drives to store documents, computer programs, and even photos. Yeah, because of the early 1980s, there was just a little bit of technology where you could actually store bitmap and images and GIFs and very, very crude photos. Okay, they weren't really quite what you would understand today, but yes, you could do that. But it was very hard to do. Okay, because they really hadn't developed the Joint Photographic Experts Group to its fullest degree by that point. But anyway. But times have changed, and the storage of media, of computer media, has also changed. There were 2 companies that worked on storing large amounts of data in the early 1990s. The first company was the Iomega company. They created something called the zip drive and something called a zip disk. I do know that this was created in 1994. But I am still struggling to discover who created this media and exactly when this media was released to the general public. Because that's where I get a little murky on this. But I will tell you that the Iomega company was founded by a guy by the name of David Bailey. Okay? And he had a friend named David Norton. And they worked together and they founded this company. They received some funding from the Bass family, who were located in the state of Texas. Okay? So, I guess I better write down a couple of names here. Okay, this is David Bailey and David Norton. They were friends and they founded the Iomega company. During the 1980s, this company followed a financial rocky road. They weren't all that successful right off the bat. Then, believe it or not, there was a guy, and his name was Kim B. Edwards. he marketed the zip drive and the zip disks. They could store more information than a floppy disk drive and would be less expensive. The zip drive was released by the Iomega Corporation in 1994. Now, I have left you a link to a web article that will explain this a little bit better. Was the Iomega drive the only computer media released in 1994? Well, no it wasn't. There was also one called the Compact Flash Media Card. That's right, at the same time as Iomega released their zip drive, there was also something called the Compact Flash Card that was also introduced to the general public. The idea of flash computer memory was nothing new. As you have probably noticed in my previous videos, I've been discussing the history of transistors. The history of transistors led to the creation of flash memory. As you continue to watch my videos, you will see lessons about this transistor revolution. But right now, we're going to go back to the subject at hand. Okay? We had some guys that came along in 1988. And don't ask me to pronounce these names, because I don't know how to do that. Now, with these three names, I'll do my very best to pronounce them, but I'm not going to make any guarantees on this. We have Eli Harari, I'm guessing. We have Sanjay Mehrotra, I'm guessing. And we have Yuan. And hopefully I got those right. Okay? Now, these three guys, formed something called the SanDisk Corporation. In December 1994, the Compact Flash Card was finally released. The Compact Flash Card utilized the technology of the USB ports on computers to store documents, photos, and even small videos. That's right. By this time, the motion picture expert group had finally come to be, and there you go. Now, if you want to read more about the invention of the Compact Flash Card, there's a web article down here in the description box below. You can read about that. Of course, the Sony Corporation was not going to be left out of this technology competition, so they invented something called the memory stick and released it to the general public in 1998. But do you think that the SanDisk Corporation was just going to stand back and let Sony dominate the media card market? Of course they wouldn't do that. So, they teamed up with the Panasonic and Toshiba Corporation and invented the Secure Digital Card in 1999. Now, for those of you who don't know, I see this all the time. How many of you people are familiar with this? And what happens usually when they look at this? They say, well, SD stands for SanDisk. No, it doesn't. Nope. Although this was made by the SanDisk Corporation, the SD in this stands for Secure Digital. It was invented by the SanDisk Corporation and the Panasonic Corporation and the Toshiba Corporation. They all got together and they made these cards. But that wasn't the end of the story. Nope. The competition grew when the Olympus and FugiFilm Corporation joined forces with the Extreme Digital Card. Okay? So you have the Olympus Corporation, which is primarily for cameras, and you had FugiFilm, which again is people who make film for cameras. Now they make cameras too. And Fuji actually helped put Eastman Kodak Corporation out of business. So these two companies, Olympus and Fujifilm, got together and they made the Extreme Digital Card. This card was released to the general public in July of 2002. Since that time, the Secure Digital Card has basically won the media card marketing war, and now can be found in most cameras and most computer devices. If you want to know more about the history of every one of these cards, feel free to ask me, because I'll give it to you. But anyway, that's all I've got. Alright, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned.